In the previous lecture, we learned the formal definition of a finite automaton and understood that an automaton recognizes a language. Today, we are going to answer a very practical question. Suppose I give you a language. Can you design a finite automaton that accepts exactly that language? How do you decide whether the automata should have two states, four states, or even six states? This lecture will teach you a systematic method for designing deterministic finite automata instead of memorizing the state diagrams. So let us begin by understanding one important concept, the regular language. Before designing an automaton, we must understand what kind of languages can actually be recognized by finite automata. A very natural question arises: can every language be recognized by a finite automata? The answer is no. Only special class of languages can be recognized, and these are called regular languages. Today we shall understand what makes a language regular. Can every problem be solved using only finite memory? Imagine trying to remember every character in a novel using only four states. Impossible. Therefore, finite automata have limitations. Here's a formal definition. The language A language is called regular language if some finite automaton recognizes it. What do you mean by recognizes it? That means it accepts the final state is reached. Notice that the definition talks about the existence of an automaton. If you construct a finite automata for a language, then the language is regular. If no finite automaton can recognize it, then it is not regular. So here, if you write here L with an arrow of M, so that means if we can construct M for this language, then the L is a regular. But how do we actually design such an automaton? This is one of my favorite slides because now we stop memorizing automaton and start thinking like computer scientists. Suppose someone gives you a language. Where do you begin? Most students immediately start drawing circles and arrows. That is actually the wrong approach. The first question should always be: what information must the automaton remember while reading the string? Remember, the finite automata has only finite memory. It cannot remember the entire input. Imagine if I give you a string containing 1 million symbols. Can the automata store the complete string? No, it has only a limited number of states. Therefore, the automaton must remember only the information that is essential for deciding whether to accept or reject the string. This slide emphasizes the idea of the finite number of states. Finite memory. Every state represents one piece of remembered information. The challenge is to identify the minimum information required. If I ask whether the string contains an even number of ones, do I remember every symbol I have read? No, exactly. So, what is the trick? This slide contains the central idea between DFA construction. Suppose the language consists of all the strings having an odd number of ones. Initially, many students think the automata must count all the ones. Actually, it does not. Ask yourself, what information is really required? Only one thing. Is the number of ones seen so far even or odd? That's all. So we need to check the parity of the ones. The automata never needs to know whether it has seen 5 ones, 17 ones, 243 ones. It only needs to remember the parity. So when we read another one, the parity changes. Even becomes odd, odd becomes even. What happens when we read a zero? Nothing changes. The zeros does not affect or do not affect the count of ones. This is the first design principle of DFA construction. Do not remember the entire string. Remember only the minimum information, whether it is even or the odd, whether the number of ones is presently even or odd. And remember the minimum information, that is the parity of the ones. Once we identify that information, the number of states become obvious. So there is one state which is depicting even and another is the depicting odd ones. So now let us construct the DFA based on this idea. So if you see, if I take one input string 1 1, that is two ones. So which is the starting state? With an arrow we know that the q even is the starting state. Now one input, if one alphabet we have taken, so there will be a transition from q even to q odd. Next one, another one, it goes back to even, and it ends here, and q even is not a final state. Hence 1 1 is rejected, and the language 1 1 says its number of ones is even, and that's not the language of this finite automata. Now if I add another one, so we will start from here. Let us remove all the inks from here. So our input is 1 1 0 and then 1. So first one, second one, third this, alphabet 0 and then 1. So we reach the final state, and hence it is accepted by this automata. And yes, it's correct. It's having three ones. The number of ones is odd. So this is again another demonstration for DFA for even number of zeros, where you will see how to represent the mathematical representation, the transition table, one example which is accepted by this automata, one example which is rejected by the automata. This is another example, strings ending with 1. So the alphabet is sigma, that is 0 1. This is the language. This is the transition table. And the Q naught is the starting. And Q1 is the final state. Take two examples where one is getting accepted and another is getting rejected. So far we have considered individual languages. Now suppose we already have two regular languages. Can we combine them to form another language? So next lecture we shall discuss about the process to produce new regular languages from the existing ones using the regular operations. Thank you.